Something familiar, something peculiar, something for everyone, a comedy tonight. Something appealing, something appalling, something for everyone, a comedy tonight. Nothing for kings, nothing for crowns. Bring on the lovers, liars, and clowns. Old situations, new complications. Nothing portentous or polite. Tragedy tomorrow, comedy tonight.
So, Dave, what you got there?
Well, this is from Conte, and these are pages 62 and 63. Plautus's popularity started to increase with Petrarch, who quotes from 2 plays and summarizes a 3rd one. And during the Renaissance, he was one of the most influential of all Latin authors, though he was almost always ranked behind Terence. To be sure, he was still banned from the classroom, despite the recommendations of Erasmus and Melanchthon. His language, style, and meter, to say nothing of his exuberant immorality, might corrupt the young.
Let's get into it.
Welcome to the Ad Nauseam podcast, where classical gourmands everywhere can finally get their fill. Join us for a delectable discussion of Greco-Roman civilization stretching from the Minoans and Mycenaeans through the Renaissance and right down to the present. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here are your hosts, Dr. David Noe and Dr. Jeff Winkle.
Welcome, Ad Nauseam listeners, to episode 220 of our humble little podcast. My name is Dr. Jeffrey T. Winkle. I'm down here in the bunker at Parnassus. I always forget what we call this. Vomitorium Central.
Matter. Vomitorium. That's an overly enthusiastic intro, I would say there, Dr. Winkle.
And you're bringing the kind of the grumpiness.
Of course I am.
As a counterbalance already.
Yes,
okay.
I am. Someone has to be bad cop to your good cop.
All right, so
it's a Monday morning. What are we doing recording in the morning?
Well, I'm afraid to ask you now. How's it going, Dave?
It's going great.
It's going great, really?
What do you mean?
Man, you're already going to bringing it down.
Well, we received a lovely compliment from a listener, and I'm going to read a little bit of that.
Okay.
And we received how shall we put it? Something else from Will.
Oh, local Will.
That is correct.
Yeah, okay.
Which do you want first? Before I ask you how you're doing, which do you want first?
Let's see, like with the
lovely compliment or the other part?
Bad news, good news. Let's get the bad news out of the way.
Get the bad news out of the way.
Yeah,
okay,
please.
so this is from one Will Fitzgerald. He's getting a lot of billing on this podcast recently.
Yes, he is.
What I would like Will to do is start his own, and then we would just crash on that.
Yes.
Like you can't imagine.
Oh, I love it.
So he sends us this email, and he puts in the subject heading. You ready for this? Addenda, not corrigenda, addenda to episode 225. Do you see the problem?
The problem is that's 5 episodes into the future.
That's correct.
Right?
So either Will is, I don't know, just completely deranged, or he's very cleverly dropping us an opportunity to correct him.
Oh, yeah.
Do you see?
Yes.
It's kind of a plant. You plant an error. Do you ever do that on an exam?
Like plant like a deliberate error.
That's right, to see if the students are paying attention.
I haven't really done a lot of stuff like that. No,
You should. It's really fun.
That's a good idea. Yeah,
it is a lot of fun. You put something in there that's a little surprising and unexpected.
Yeah.
Most students won't catch it, but the one who does, it's like a little Easter egg, right?
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of brings it out. So this is what he had to say in his so-called addenda to episode 225. He says the Oxford English Dictionary is available online for $100 per year. It used to be the case that it cost thousands to license. That's what we said, to license it. But they now offer individual licenses. The 2-volume compact OED with the magnifying glass. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
With a little magnifying glass built in.
Yeah, right.
You take out the decoder ring and then clean off the magnifying glass.
Yeah.
And I think you could set the dictionary on fire with the hot sun.
Right, exactly.
I think that was the goal.
Yeah.
Can be purchased, used for under $100. And then he says, although I can't really recommend it. Now, Will, where did we ask for recommendations?
He's really overstepping.
I didn't remember saying, send us corrigenda and a list of your recommendations. He says you really need that magnifying glass, and it's hard to use. However,
yeah.
Will signs off with, quote, great episode. Great.
man.
So now he's back in my good graces just a little bit.
So he punches with one
That's
fist,
correct.
and then the other one he offers like an olive branch.
You might say it's an iron hand in a velvet glove.
That's what it is.
Do you know that expression?
I do know that.
I don't know where it comes from, but
Right.
it's got to be Shakespearean. So that's the bad news.
All right,
That's
okay.
the bad news. You ready for the good news?
Please.
Okay, so this is from a listener named Roxanne, and we won't say anything about the Sting song there. And she says, love the podcast.
All right.
She had me right there. I'm an avid listener who often revisits past episodes. So are the rest of you listeners paying attention?
Yeah.
This is the key
That's right.
to literary brilliance and enjoyment. Revisit past episodes.
Of course, yes.
She says, I have received much enlightenment from you and Dr. Winkle, as well as great delight in your jokes, your puns, your giggling. That's you, Jeff. You're the giggler. And the numerous side trips that you take us on. I proudly display my ad nauseum sticker on the rear window of my 2008 VW Jetta, which has a name.
What, she named the Jetta?
Yes.
What's the name?
I'm not sure I should say on the air.
You got to say it.
It's decent. It's PG. We'll save it for another episode.
All right.
You named any of your vehicles?
Yes, we name all our vehicles.
Really?
Yes, exactly.
What are the current names?
Our van is currently Lois.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, and my beat up Honda Civic is Gertie.
That's what you drove here,
Yes,
right?
I did. You heard it coming from a block
I
away.
did. Well, now I'll say her VW Jetta is Goethe.
Is it Gerda?
Yes. What a
Whoa!
strange coincidence.
My goodness, we named ours after a beloved neighbor who passed away. So
And
Gertie.
the way of honoring your neighbor was to name your car after her.
Yes, our car.
I'm glad I wasn't your
with
neighbor.
191,000 miles.
Wow.
on it.
Hers has 190,000 plus.
My goodness,
That's a strange coincidence.
there is
Did
kind
you
of-
send this in,
no,
Jeff?
I'm feeling kind of a kismet between
Yeah,
Roxanne and I. This is
That's
great.
correct.
Yeah.
I've only named one of my vehicles,
Mm-hmm.
and that was Old Jalopy.
Old Jalopy.
Yeah, there's a song. I think, what's his name? Harry Connick Jr.?
Yeah.
He had a song about an Old Jalopy
Okay.
when he was trying to revive jazz. You remember he went through that stage?
I do remember
It
that.
was a long time ago in the 90s.
And so it's not really a name. It's more of a
I thought it was. You got a problem with it?
OJ. Well, that comes with
I
its own
suppose.
baggage.
Only white Broncos
right.
could be named that. So we got that stuff out of the way.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling great. Thanks
Yeah.
for asking. I got a good dose of coffee this morning out of
Nice.
my Ratio 4. Fantastic. How
Good
about
deal.
you?
Well, we're entering summer mode in our house.
You're gonna dial back your coffee consumption?
Well,
a
no,
little bit?
I got to get this other thing kind of off my chest.
Okay.
Right? So we're entering summer mode at our house. As our listeners might know, both my wife and I are educators, and so there's a change of rhythm and season. And so like a lot of educators do, they will look for like summer jobs to supplement income.
Yeah.
Like my dad taught. He was a high school biology teacher.
And basketball coach.
He was, and he taught driver's training.
Okay. Figures.
So I went out and I found myself kind of a manual labor job. And
Now
so
hold on.
Yeah.
Is there going to be any loofahs in this one?
I really don't want to say at this
All right.
point.
All right.
But
Manual labor.
manual labor. I found myself installing microwave ovens.
Okay.
Custom kitchen deliveries.
Wait a minute.
Got to move those refrigerators.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
So I'm doing that, and my wife, she doesn't want to do any of that kind of stuff, and she found this thing online.
Okay.
Whereas if you sign up and if you can direct traffic to websites, people will pay you per visit.
Yes.
Right. And there was this added incentive that if you get so much, we'll pay you.
Right.
But we'll always give you free tickets to this impressionist exhibit that's coming to the downtown museum. And so she's
The
all
Grand
into
Rapids
this.
downtown.
Exactly right.
Okay.
And so she's all into that,
Right.
and she's kind of driving me a little bit crazy with it.
Okay.
And so I had to confront her that the other day, that her whole life was about Monet for nothing and clicks for fees.
Monet for nothing and clicks for fees.
Yes.
Very nice. I can never pronounce that guy's name. Mark Knopfer?
Knopfler.
Knopfler?
Yeah, you ignore the K.
There's a K.
There's a K.
And an N.
Yes.
OPFL.
Yes.
ER.
So there's a lot you have to ignore in there.
I have this theory that people with difficult to pronounce names never achieve the fame that they may deserve.
Really?
Van Halen is really easy to say.
Yes.
Beethoven, really easy to say. Salieri, right? Another
Yes.
famous composer.
Yeah.
Hard to say.
Hard to say.
That's right.
And eclipsed by Mozart.
Mozart,
Right.
two strong syllables. And the strongest of all is Bach.
Yes.
So I just think that's it. So
that's an interesting theory. So
Thank you.
you think Mr. Knopfler should have gone maybe with a stage name?
yes, he should have.
Yeah.
Like Knock. Mark Knock.
Mark Knock.
That's
yeah.
memorable.
Yeah.
But he's got this, this really unpronounceable
Right.
German name. Now, the uninformed listener might be thinking, why am I talking about Mark Knopfler?
Well, why are you talking about Mark Knopfler?
It's because he's the lead guitarist and probably the songwriter for Dire Straits.
Right.
Which is the band behind your gig, your gag there.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay.
I hope our
You think they
listeners-
got it?
Well, you probably are right and have to kind of, there's a few
spell
out there.
it out.
Right. Exactly.
Monet for nothing and clicks for fees.
Right.
All right.
Yes.
Speaking of verbal absurdity,
Yes.
fireworks, and panache,
Yes.
it's Plautus time.
It is Plautus time.
And I think you're going to get us started first with the Ope quote.
Yeah, so I was digging into Plautus last week a little bit, and I was finding out about this play in particular, Miles Gloriosus, the braggart soldier, or the translation we're using calls it Major Blowhard.
That's right.
One of the enduring kind of academic puzzles or controversies about this play is have to do with its origins. And so some people, some academics argue, no, the thing holds together as a play all on its own. And the other camp says it really presents itself as kind of two plays kind of crammed into one.
Okay, so you're bringing into the discussion this early some literary analysis.
Yeah.
And you're highlighting for us the two different camps of interpretation
Yes.
with respect to this famous play.
Right. So,
Okay.
so what a lot of people will talk about when they breaking down the structure of this play, they'll say it really kind of centers around kind of two tricks. So the first trick is when as we'll get back into this, or the trick is try to convince one slave in a household that this woman is actually two women. They're twin sisters.
That's right.
And then the second half of the play, the trick is directed at the Major Blowhard himself and try to convince him that this woman is actually in love with him, but she's actually not.
Right.
And so it's kind of
And all of it is in order for the young man
yes,
to end up with the girl.
Right.
And pursue his continued love interest and get the villain, Major Blowhard, out of the way.
yes, exactly, right. So those in kind of the two trick camp academics will often point to that and say it doesn't really work, right? That the thread that holds them together is that getting this guy and his girlfriend back together is thin. Right?
Yeah, I'm already against it.
Right. No, I am too.
Because I don't take comic advice from academics, including from myself.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
Is that wise?
Yes, wise. That's well
Okay.
said. Right. So I found this article by one Lisa Maurice.
Okay.
An article entitled "Structure and Stagecraft in Plautus's Miles Gloriosus." This comes from 2007. Yes.
Do some people call her a space cowboy?
I think you're setting up the next gag.
It could be. Lisa Maurice.
Lisa Maurice,
Okay.
right? And so she in this article is making the argument is that you can still have the two trick aspect of the play, but still also see this as something that holds together quite nicely.
So in other words, the two trick aspect doesn't detract from the overall brilliance
Exactly.
of the playwright.
Exactly right, which I broadly agree with.
That's where you are. Let's hear it.
So she writes, it can be seen that the first and last scenes of the play depict Pirgo Polynices, that's our Major Blowhard. I think he's Major Topolocropolis.
That's right.
In his success and defeat, respectively, and form a framework for the play as a whole. Two separate tricks take place between these two scenes. The first against the soldier slave, Scaledris, who I think that's hapless.
That's
in
right.
our play. And the second against the soldier himself. After the initial introduction to Major Blowhard in the first scene, he disappears for the entirety of the first trick, which is independent of the second in terms of the action. The first trick, however, parallels the second by stressing the ideas of role-playing and acting and the illusions created thereby. The emphasis on the illusory power of drama highlights the character of Pirgo Polynices, Major Blowhard, whose life is an illusion. This becomes clear in the last scene, which mirrors the first. In the first scene, Major Blowhard depicts himself as the ultimate lover and a magnificent soldier. In the last, he is beaten by a bunch of cooks and slaves and threatened with castration. Thus, the gradual shattering of the illusion under which Major Blowhard lives is depicted through the symmetry of the play and emphasized through its continual stress on acting.
Interesting.
So she sees kind of a mirroring parallel between them,
Right.
between the two sides of the play, and it kind of all holds together quite nicely.
Okay, so let me maybe gently poke at this balloon a
Yeah,
little bit. I don't know if
please.
it's possible to gently poke at a balloon.
Yeah.
It seems maybe more polar than that.
Yeah.
Could it be that as much as we like Lisa's analysis, she's maybe reading into the play more than is there?
Isn't that the job of academics?
Of course,
have we
as we've said many times. Virtually every episode. Although those who listen carefully may notice that in episode 219, we did not say brackish tang.
We did. Okay.
I think that's the first time in maybe 150 episodes.
Surprised Will didn't call it to our attention.
I am surprised too.
Yes.
But Lisa is saying more about the play than one can really say. I am trying to imagine Plautus reading this, and I can just see him slapping his knee and laughing uproariously.
Right.
He's just trying to put folks in the seats, right? Put viewers in the seats, pad his bank account, and have a few chuckles. She finds this really elevated literary device there.
Right. Yeah. No, I know. I'm with you. It reminds me of, when I was in graduate school, one of the kind of the hot phrases was the death of the author.
Oh,
so
really?
the idea is that it doesn't matter what the playwright or the author intended or didn't intend.
Yeah.
I'm showing what's really going on.
Yes.
Right?
I don't care for that.
No. But I think Lisa, Ms. Maurice here, she's up to a little of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right?
Sure. So quick Plautus review, right? 20 plays survive, more or less complete. The most famous are The Braggart Soldier, Major Blowhard. The Menechmi Twins obviously influenced Shakespeare. The Amphitryo, where the lead character Amphitryo, who is Hercules' mortal father, is confused with Jupiter. The Alularia, the Pot of Gold. Pseudolus, something like a Little Liar. The Captives, the Bacchides, and so on and so forth. So this guy Plautus, right? He was really successful. More than 100 plays circulated under his name.
Right.
But Marcus Terentius Varro, even in the 1st century BC, so a contemporary of Cicero, much of Varro survives only in quotes and citations here and there. Specifically in Augustine, he said only 21 of these are authentically Plautine.
Yes.
So in the Oxford classical texts, you can put all 21 of these into 2 books, 2 volumes. And I have it right here before me. So
that.
Maybe a little bit later, a little Latin.
Of course. Yes. Not maybe, but definitely.
All right.
Yeah. And one of the also one of kind of the mysteries about Plautus too is so he dates to he's 3rd century BC, right?
Yes, he dies around 181.
So 3rd, 2nd century. So he, in terms of Latin literature, he's right there near the beginning.
He's at the cusp, as some would like to say.
Right. And so one of the enduring questions about Plautus is, where is he getting his material? What's he basing this on? And of course, the assumption, I think, and a correct assumption, is that he is borrowing from, he is romanizing Greek Middle and New comedy.
Specifically Menander
Yes.
and Diphilus.
Exactly.
Those 2 guys.
And one of the big problems is that just not much of that stuff survives at all.
That's right.
So we have some Menander, we have fragments. And so really, if you're trying to understand the influences, direct influences on Plautus, it's very difficult to say. Because he does seem to, if you ignore all that, he drops like an alien on the landscape.
That's right.
Yeah.
A short aside here. It's Monday today. Yesterday I was teaching on 1 Corinthians 15. And in 1 Corinthians 15, as Paul is making his elaborate argument about the resurrection, he quotes Menander.
Is that right?
Eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we may die.
Right,
if there is no resurrection, he quotes Menander. Now, the footnotes, the scholars say, this is almost certainly Menander.
Yeah.
He's one of the few poets that occurs in the New Testament. Of course, we don't know whether Paul had read Menander directly. It's absolutely possible. I think he was broadly familiar with Greek literature. It could also just be something kind of in the air.
Right.
For example, I have never met, who was it? Is it Buzz Aldrin was the first guy to walk on the moon?
That's Neil Armstrong.
Neil Armstrong.
Buzz was second, yeah.
Sorry. I never met Neil Armstrong, but I can tell you that he said one small step for man, a giant step for mankind.
Right.
I don't have to have met him or read the transcript or seen the Hollywood production of the moon landing in order to know that was a joke.
Yeah.
Because it really occurred, Jeff.
It did?
You're not one of those, are you?
No, Stanley Kubrick was behind it. It was
really?
all, a Hollywood basement. Right?
Okay.
Come, where have you been? But
to know that's a common expression.
Yes, exactly. And if indeed that's the case, I mean, that speaks to the tremendous influence and popularity of Menander, right?
Absolutely.
And I've read the Discalus, which I think is the one fully intact play that survives from Menander.
Yes.
But
I have a volume of it. We'll do it. We'll cover it on some episode.
That would be great. But what I remember learning about Menander is that one of these kind of strange ironies is that he was tremendously popular,
right?
But almost nothing of his work survives.
Strange.
So, but that's striking that Paul could drop a phrase like that.
Yes.
several hundred years after Menander,
Right.
and expect that his audience would
know it.
know it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's Menander, the comedy of manners, more Terentian and Plautian than something Aristophanic.
Mm-hmm.
So the general outline of the play thus far.
Yeah.
Last week we covered this. The opening scene, the braggart comes in, Pergopolinices, Major Blowhard. He boasts about his military exploits.
Yes.
And he has this hanger-on, Artatragus,
Yes.
the crumb grubber, right?
The crumb grubber. Right.
He's the guy that is just in Miles Gloriosus' entourage.
Right.
Do we have anybody like that for the podcast?
We need a flatterer.
We do.
We do, right.
Someone who hangs on our every word.
Right.
And we throw them an occasional biscuit of some sort.
Exactly. Someone who belongs to one of my favorite words, a clack.
Yeah,
right?
clack.
Their job is just to kind of pump us up.
Right.
Right.
Is that a French word, clack?
It sounds Frenchy.
Because my favorite French word is canard.
Canard.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is the quacking of a duck. But it's used to indicate something that's so absurd that only a duck would say it.
Oh.
It's just a canard.
Yeah. That's
like
great.
that.
That's great.
Then Palestrio. Enter Palestrio. And
that's Dexter in our
That's
play.
correct.
Yes.
In the translation of Berg and what's the other guy?
I'm forgetting. I think this
Parker.
Parker. Yeah, that's
Yes,
it.
Dina
Yeah.
Berg and Douglas Parker. So Dexter is the slave Palestrio, played by Zero Mostel in The Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum.
Exactly.
And in every one of these slave comedies, the slave is the underestimated character who coordinates everything with a kind of divine intricacy.
Right, exactly, right. So in elsewhere in Maurice's argument, in the article that we just quoted from, she sees Palestrio or Dexter as a stand-in for Plautus, and so you see one of the ironies. Again, maybe she's seeing too much here, but what you're watching.
You got to get tenure. That's it.
Right.
If you're going to get tenure, you got to see things.
Right. So she says this play more than other Plautian plays. Dexter, we see Plautus as Dexter. He's writing the play as we watch it.
Yeah.
He's threading all of these narratives together.
That's right. It's a meta theatrical. It's breaking the fourth wall.
Right.
So then, Act 2, we have the monkey and the roof incident.
Yes.
Can you set that up for us?
Right. So Major Blowhard, he's keeping this girl in his house as kind of his would-be concubine. Right?
So kind of a Briseis.
Exactly.
From
right.
the Iliad, a war trophy.
And she's called Convivia.
Right.
In this translation. And the problem is that Convivia is already the girlfriend of this other guy from Athens who our translators call, I think, Nauticles.
Okay.
And
he's
then,
kind of a young, foolish kid. Right?
Young, foolish kid. And these two young kids, these two teenagers, they're in love.
Star-crossed.
And our slave here, our clever slave Dexter, he machinates a way of getting them together. And so the stage setup is you have the house of Major Blowhard on one side, and you have the house of Hospitalities on the other. And in the house of Hospitalities, that's where the young man is staying.
Right.
And Dexter, he arranges for a tunnel to be dug between the house of Major Blowhard and the house of Hospitalities, so Convivia can sneak over and be with her young lover.
Got it.
Yes.
So the two young folks, Convivia and what was his name, Nauticles?
Nauticles, yes.
They're kind of enjoying a chili dog behind the Tasty Freeze.
Exactly right.
Is that the kind of idea?
That's right.
Okay.
You got it. And so Major Blowhard's slave, who in our translation is called Hapless, he one day is his pet monkey gets loose, or the pet monkey of the house gets loose, and he's chasing it around. And while he's doing that, he sees through a window or winds up in Hospitalities on the roof, and he sees Convivia and this young man kissing.
Right.
And so he's scandalized. He's also terrified because his job was to keep this young woman in Major Blowhard's house.
He had one job.
One job.
Okay.
Right. And so now he's terrified is that Major Blowhard is going to kill him for allowing this woman to escape.
Right. So it's a minor thing that is the monkey's escapade.
Yes.
You can play it for slapstick.
Yes.
But it is the minor element that leads to major consequences.
Yes, this is the inciting incident.
That's
yes.
correct.
Yeah.
The catalyst. So as in the Aeneid, it's like the white stag, right? That leads to the war between the Trojans and the Rutulians.
Exactly.
In Italy.
Right.
And I think that I'm not suggesting that either was inspired by the other, but I really like that as a literary device.
I do too.
Like the butterfly effect, right?
Yes.
Something very, very small and no one would expect that from this would grow enormous consequences.
Right. I think Professor Maurice could make the argument that it is a direct influence. I mean, I kind of like the idea.
On Virgil?
Well, I mean, allow me to see things that maybe aren't necessarily there. But if the white mare, as kind of that also white stag as a symbol of kind of divinity and
right.
Elevation, that works in kind of Trojan epic.
Right.
Then kind of switching it to a ridiculous monkey.
Yeah.
Is a really nice way of turning that notion on its head.
Yes,
yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. All right, so then that also sets up as we were talking about, the first trick, which dominates the first half of the play. All right, so Hapless is terrified that Major Blowhard's going to come after him.
Right.
And Hapless gets it right. He kind of knows what's going on. This girl is sneaking next door and is
from the house of Major Blowhard.
Yes, to
Hospitalities,
right,
where her Athenian young man, her boyfriend, lives.
Right. So Hapless, he sees it and he understands what's going on, and so Dexter says, "We got to find a way to confuse this guy, this slave." And so, long story short, he, with the help of Hospitalities, who's also in on all of this, he convinces Hapless that it's Convivia's twin sister is also visiting. And that's who he actually saw. And if you run back inside Hapless and check her bedroom, you'll find Convivia there. So Hapless does, and of course, quickly Convivia goes back through the tunnel.
Through the secret tunnel.
And he finds her, and he's very confused what was going on. Hapless is he's very deeply suspicious, but eventually enough of that kind of stuff happens. Yeah. The trickery happens that he's finally kind of grudgingly accepts, okay, there's two of these women.
Yeah. He's also not very bright.
He's not very bright. Right.
So in the secret tunnel, is there LED track lighting or a beverage station or something? Because she's got to go back and forth through this tunnel repeatedly. Am I right?
Yeah, I would hope there would be some kind of amenities in there. It's like maybe a Subway, sandwich shop.
Sneak fresh.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Right.
Act 2, Scene 2?
Act Scene 2, right.
Is that where we are?
Right. And so this is... let's read a little bit. So let's do some Latin.
Okay.
Can we?
Absolutely, we can. So here we go from the Oxford Classical Text, and we are in Act 2, Scene 2. Periplectaminus, who is Hospitalities, is speaking, and he says, Ni hercle di fregerdretis talos post hoc quem quintegulis, viderdretis alienum ego vostra faciam later de lordrea, mi quidem iam arbitri vicini sunt meae quid fiat domi, ita per impluium introspectant, nunc adeo edic omnibus, quem qua milita hoc viderdretis hominem in nostris tegulis, extranum palaestrionum huc de turbotate, whoa, I messed that one up, de turbatote in viam. So Jeff, you can forgive me, I hope, for de turbatote, which is a second plural future active imperative.
Oh, goodness.
Yes.
My goodness.
Not easy.
Yes. No, nicely done.
Thank you.
Yes. And so let me give you a bit of that translation.
And this is the Berg and Parker?
This is the Berg and Parker translation, okay. Yes. And so here, Hospitalities, he has discovered that Hapless has been sneaking around the roof chasing this monkey, and he's not happy about this at all. Right. So he says, by Heracles, the next time you see some stranger sneaking around on our rooftop, bashing his shins. So he's talking to Dexter here. He says, if you don't, I promise to thrash your tushies to tatters. All I need now is my neighbors gawking away at whatever goes on in my house from front row seats above my private patio. Now hear this. Any servant from yonder major's house found traipsing across our roof, any servant that is, excluding Dexter, shall be dashed head down, face first to the street below. And if he claims he's chasing a chicken, a pigeon, or even a runaway monkey, it's your life or his, understood? We show no mercy. I want him a pulsating mound of pulpacious flesh. You know, gambling here is strictly taboo, so make sure he hasn't a knucklebone left to shake with his buddies.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, Hospitalities, in on the trick, is trying to scare away, right, Hapless. This takes some time to keep this straight. Yeah. Hapless is the servant of Major Blowhard, right, who has been finding out what's going on in the house. Exactly. Because of the monkey.
Right. So, Hospitalities, I mean, he's playing along, he's making a good show. To make it look like he is, genuinely upset about what's happening, all to lay this larger ruse.
Right. Yeah. Good punning here. A pulsating mound of pulpacious flesh.
Yeah. Now, just glancing at the Latin that you just read, did you get a sense of again how our translators are doing here? A lot of license being taken.
Yes.
There. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not a translator of this kind of material. I can't really claim any special expertise.
Yeah.
I think it's on the whole very accurate, but of course they're going to take some license because, as they already told us in the introduction, they're trying to bring out the humor.
Of course.
And they're trying to update it.
Exactly. Yep. That was my sense. All right, so this goes on for extended scenes where Hapless is trying to juggle Dexter's trying to juggle Hapless's suspicions with also trying to orchestrate these clandestine meetings between his this Athenian young man and this young woman, and it goes back and forth. And so he comes up with this idea to pretend that Convivia's twin sister has come to town to visit, and that's who Hapless actually saw.
Correct. So you've got to have this double mistaken identity sort of idea in order to make the play work. Do we want to read a little bit of Act 2, Scene 3?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so how about you play the character of Hapless, and I'll play the character of Dexter, who is Polystrio, the clever slave.
Right. So as the scene opens, Hapless is emerging from the major's house, and he is talking to himself.
Soliloquy.
Yes. He says, "Unless I was walking around on our roof in my sleep this morning, no, by cracky, I'm positive that I saw Convivia, the major's very own girlfriend, right next door here, getting herself in trouble."
So this is the man who saw her kissing. I just heard him say as much.
Hey, who's there?
Just one of the family. Hi, Hapless, what's up?
It's Dexter. Gee, am I glad to see you?
Why's that? Some trouble with business? Tell all.
I'm scared.
Scared? Scared of what?
We're all going to take a leap. First into the pan and then into the fire. Oh, suffering snakes.
Go take a leap by yourself. I'm not the leaping kind. Not in, not out.
You mean that you don't know the horrible thing that happened this morning?
What sort of horrible thing?
A naughty sort.
You must stifle that information. Don't tell me. I don't want to hear.
I'll make you hear. I chased our little pet monkey across the neighbor's roof this morning.
Hapless, how awful. Imagine one dumb animal leading another.
Jove will strike you for that.
The same to you. Go on. As long as you've started, you may as well tell me the rest.
Well, accidentally, by chance, I peeped in next door and saw Convivia kissing a stranger, a young one, and foreign.
What hoopla, Hapless? How could such libel spring forth from your lips?
I'm sure I saw her.
You did, eh?
I did indeed, with these, my own 2 eyes.
Get out. You're making this up. You didn't see her.
You think I'm blind or something?
Go ask a doctor, but now, for heaven's sake, put a stop to this blather. He who makes heady charges usually winds up headless. Unless you renounce this imbecilic locution, you'll end up yourself in double jeopardy.
What do you mean by double?
I'll tell you. First, if your allegations are false regarding Convivia, that's grounds enough for capital punishment. Then, if the charges are true, and you were the guard on duty, that's equal grounds for a second execution.
Well, what happens to me, I don't know. But I'm sure I saw her.
Still you persist, you miserable, misguided wretch.
Well, what on earth do you want me to say, except that I didn't see her? She's still next door, even now.
So she isn't at home, you say?
I don't expect you to take it from me. Go in and see for yourself.
I think I'll do just that.
And I'll wait out here. In the meantime, I aim to corral that little heifer as soon as she moseys back to the shed from her romp in the hay. Right, so this is where, again, Convivia then sneaks back through the tunnel.
Right.
And then Hapless is astounded to find that she's back where she's supposed to be.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because there's only one of her, but Dexter is persuading him there are two.
There are two. Eventually, we'll kind of come around to that becomes the trick he crafts to explain all of this. Yes.
It is the same device used in the Bacchades, the twin debauched sisters.
Yeah.
And the device used in the Amphitrio, where Amphitrio and Jupiter are mistaken for one another.
Yeah.
And the device used in the Menechmi.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
What do you think of this device?
I think if it's done well, it can be really, really effective. I remember seeing years ago when I was visiting my brother when he was at medical school in Nashville, and there was one of these Shakespeare in the Parks, and they did a comedy of errors.
Yes.
Which is kind of a direct nod towards the Menechmi.
Right.
And it was hysterical.
Really?
It was really funny.
Could it be that we're too lowbrow?
Is this lowbrow humor?
Well, I have a friend, Joseph. He knows who he is. He doesn't listen anymore, but he forever ruined most sitcoms for me by telling me that comedies of error are not funny.
Oh, really?
Because they don't require very much imagination. The mistaken identity, the double entendre, they're just too simple.
I would say on the page, perhaps.
Yes.
But that's one of the problems, of
interesting.
course, is reading these things silently. Maybe a little better when we do that out loud as like a table read.
A little.
But I mean, if you facial expressions, physical comedy.
Right.
All that comes into play in doing that kind of comedy really well.
Yeah.
To me, and since when do you listen to other people about what's funny and what's not?
That's a good question. Also, he's an academic.
Oh, even worse.
Well, as we're getting close to the ads, I wanted to remind you in a kind of a unique way of one of your favorite comedies.
Yes.
And let's see if you can pick this up.
Okay.
Bum 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 ba ba. Bum 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 ba ba. Ba ba da 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 da.
Oh yeah, that's the theme from MASH.
That's right.
Right, exactly.
I was a little pitchy at the beginning, but you love MASH.
No, I do not love MASH.
What?
I hate MASH.
Because
Never laughed once.
You're kidding me. It's very Ploutine, isn't it?
I didn't. Maybe I didn't watch enough to know.
You've got the character of Klinger, who's Jamie Farr, right? I think he's a Michigan native.
Is he really?
Yeah,
Okay.
and right, he's pretending that he's insane by dressing as a woman, so he can get Section 8 and get out of the army.
Right. Yeah.
Not funny.
I didn't find it. Maybe that's a comedy of errors that I thought was.
It is a comedy of errors
that was not done well.
It's not funny on the page, but you don't think it's funny to watch.
I don't.
You have Alan Alda, a much taller version of Groucho Marx.
No, man, I don't compare him to Groucho Marx.
I don't say he's nearly as funny.
Yeah.
But I'm saying his whole shtick in that show is Groucho Marx.
I always found him just off-putting and irritating.
Oh, I agree with that. Yeah. Not Marx, but Alan Alda.
Alan Alda, right.
You sure it's not his politics bleeding into your consideration of his portrayals?
No. Actually, I just find him just as an actor kind of insufferable.
Okay.
So,
but speaking of...
This is subjective. Right? This comedy is what
no.
One person's trash is another's treasure.
No, I don't think so.
No?
You don't want to bring any kind of objectivity to the discussion of humor? Aren't some comedians just inherently funnier than others?
Again, that would be an opinion, right?
So all opinions are equal.
I'm not saying that at all. But
sounds like you are.
I don't think there are rules for comedy. Yeah. Right.
Okay. Speaking of rules for comedy, it's time for
the ads. Episode of Ad Nauseam is brought to you by Hackett Publishing. We love these guys. I think they're fond of us. They've been with us from pretty much the very beginning, over
That's
5
correct.
years now.
This will be the fall of 2020.
Yeah.
It's going on 6.
Man, so we are so grateful to this company. And it's a great company. They're one of these rare companies, these publishers that can give you a high-quality product at a very affordable price.
That's right.
Just in terms of the way the books are put together, the artwork, and of course the quality of the scholarship and the translations are just simply top notch. And so, as we've often said on the show, I'm going to guess that if you're listening to this, you probably have a library of your own of some sort, and you probably want to add to it.
Yeah.
And so, a great way to do that is to go to hackettpublishing.com and see what they got on tap. But before we got to give them the whole lowdown here, Dave, what about the signature collection?
That's right. Well, you may have a very small library, just kind of nascent, just kind of getting started. It could be like a Libaby.
All right.
And maybe you want your Libaby to grow.
Yes.
If so, then you want to check out the Hackett Signature Editions Collection. The Hackett Signature Editions Collection offers premium hardcovers of select titles in the Hackett catalog. True story.
Yeah.
A family member, not an immediate family member of mine, but pretty close. When this fine gentleman was in college, he was a great fan of ping pong, table tennis.
Yep.
You like table tennis?
I do.
I do too. Guess what? He was too poor to afford a paddle. So how did he play?
He used a book?
He used a book. I'd like to see you do that with a paperback.
Yeah,
no spin.
No way.
No slam, no English. You couldn't do anything. He had a good, small, perfect-sized hardcover, and he was tearing up the table. Isn't that brilliant?
Is that really true?
It is true.
Oh, my goodness.
Isn't that incredible?
That is incredible.
That's what you can do with a Hackett Signature Edition.
Okay.
You can read it, and then you can take it, and because it's hardback, it's Smith-sewn. The hardcovers are wrapped in FSC certified material. I don't know what that means, but I'm sure it's good.
Yeah.
Linen-like embossing that mimics cloth, stamping on the front cover and spines in pigment foil, color matched to the end sheets, a black satin ribbon marker, acid-free 50-pound cream-colored paper. This is high-quality printing.
Yeah.
You get one of these Hackett Signature Editions, and then you can hack at the ball if you need to later on.
Yes. So you can find those by going to hackettpublishing.com and hackettpublishing.com/hackett-signature-editions.
That's correct.
Will take you to all of these offerings. Now, also germane to the topic of the day, we're also offering a chance to win these translations of Plautus and Terence.
That's right. 5 comedies of Plautus and Terence translated by
Beeg and Parker.
That's very close.
Okay, sorry.
It's not Beeg. It's Dina. I think that bled over.
Yeah.
Derna Beeg. No, it's Dina Berg.
Sorry.
And Douglas Parker.
Yes. And you guys can get in the drawing by writing to Dave at adnauseum.com. Don't forget the V in Nauseam. And if you put in this keyword, braggart.
That's correct. Inspired by Jeff. You will be entered in the drawing.
Yeah.
And that's a good way to grow your lie baby.
Absolutely. But in the meantime, check out hackettpublishing.com. Find the books you want. Drop them in the little grocery satchel. And if you use this coupon code, AN2026, it's AN as an ad nauseum plus the current year, that'll get you 3 amazing things, Dave.
20% off your entire order.
Yes.
Free shipping and support for this podcast. Check it out. All right, now listen closely, please. As we wrap up our partnership with Della Chelpka Art, we wanted to give you one final opportunity. Della is a professional oil painter creating original work designed for your home or lie baby and other spaces that matter. If you've been living with a blank wall or some generic stock photography, Jeff, you living with generic stock photography?
I get all my wall art from Hampton Inn.
Yeah. This is a good moment to change that.
Yeah.
For a limited time, you can use the code FINAL20, like that Europe song, for 20% off your entire order. Go to Della Chelpka, DellaChelpka, DellaChelpka.art, pronounced Beeg, to find and collect your own original oil painting. They make remarkable gifts as well. The coupon code is FINAL20. Check it out while it is still available.
And finally, this episode of Ad Nauseam is brought to you by Ratio Coffee. Hey, these guys too have been with us for a very long time. If you are interested in upping your coffee game, if you want to invest in your coffee future, you're going to want to go to ratiocoffee.com and check out these amazing machines that they have. They've got the flagship, the 8, which is what I currently have on my counter. They've got the younger brother, the number 6, slightly more affordable, but still another great machine. And then more recently, they've just put out the Ratio 4, Dave, which I believe you mentioned earlier in this episode.
I'm pretty much an exclusive Ratio 4 guy right now.
Okay.
If we have some friends over, we'll fire up the Ratio 8.
Yeah.
Turn the crank and push the buttons and everything. But day to day, I'm a Ratio 4 guy because I have reduced my coffee intake a little bit, but I haven't reduced my enjoyment of the beverage at all. In fact, I have increased it by using the Ratio 4.
Yes, I have found the same. So, listener, do yourself a favor. Go to ratiocoffee.com/adnauseum, and there you can, again, don't forget the V in nauseum there. And Dave, what is the offer that we hold out to them?
Correct. $20 off your entire order, any machine that you want. And of course, the Ratio 4 recently got some great press in bonappetit.com about the best single-serve coffee maker, and that is the Ratio 4.
Mm-hmm.
Very attainable price point, looks beautiful on your countertop, and if you purchase it, you will be supporting this podcast. So this is the time, perhaps, as you go into summer, to raise the quality and the level of your coffee game. You can do it at ratiocoffee.com/adnauseum. The coupon code is ANRatio2026. ANRATIO 2026.
Check it out.
Okay, Jeff, back into it now. We are getting, and where are we heading next?
Let's jump ahead actually to Act 4.
Okay.
So, Trick 1 is basically concluded now. Its object has been attained, and that was to convince Hapless that there are 2 women here, and really just to get him to keep his mouth shut about everything.
So that Major Blowhard doesn't find out about what's going on.
Exactly, right.
And wreak vengeance on the whole crew.
Exactly. And so Trick 2 now, the objective is to rescue Convivia, put her back into the arms of Nauticles, her Athenian lover, and get them out of town.
Got it.
And so here, the trick involves again playing upon Major Blowhard's vast ego.
Oh yes.
And finding a couple of local courtesans and convincing Major Blowhard that she's in love with him.
Okay.
Right. And I believe one of these young women is playing the role of Hospitality's wife. He's not married.
No, but it's another ruse.
It's another ruse here.
Okay.
And I think part of the joke too is that Major Blowhard is so invested in himself that he doesn't even realize that his next door neighbor is not married, and so he's very easy to convince that this is his wife that he's never met before,
because he pays no attention to anyone except himself.
So the idea is if he can get Major Blowhard convinced that this woman is head over heels for him, he will forget about Convivia and make it easier for them to get her out of there,
to sneak her out. So speaking of courtesans, how is your reading of Crime and Punishment coming?
It's slow, but I am very much enjoying it.
Yes.
Yes.
Would you say you're about halfway?
I'm about 2/3 through.
Okay. Wow.
Yep.
Well, there's no reason to rush,
No.
right? The really enjoyable things in life you should take your time with.
Yes, exactly.
Seems to me.
So my problem, just a small aside here, is I have no reason to base this on anything. Is that the translation that I'm reading, I find it very frustrating. It does not make it an easy read.
Okay.
So again, it
hasn't been smoothed out.
Right. And of course, I know nothing about various English translations of the Russian original, but this one came highly touted.
Right.
I'm finding it difficult to make it through. I'm still enjoying the story and the themes very, very much, but it's not an easy read.
Can you imagine yourself rereading it in a different translation at some point? I don't mean
maybe
right
sometime
away,
down the line. I would love
2, 3, 4 years,
just for comparative sake.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you said Act 4.
Act 4, Scene 1.
Okay.
And this is where this is more or less where Major Blowhard returns to the drama.
Very good. So whom do you want to play? Which part?
I'll play the Major here. If you
want to be Major Blowhard?
If you can take Dexter.
I think I can.
And so here, Dexter he's laying the groundwork for trick number 2.
The second trick. All right.
So Major Blowhard comes in onto the stage and says, "What a pleasure it is when things go so nicely, as well as on schedule. Today I sent Ingestio, my top subordinate, off to King Seleucus. He's taking a shipment of freshly recruited hacks. While they guard his kingdom, I get a little vacation."
Enough royal business, sir. You must tend to your own. A new proposition arrived, and she's highly attractive.
Indeed? Let all other affairs fall back. Speak freely. You have my attention. My ears are at your service.
Secure the area. We don't want some little birdie listening in on our conversation. I'm instructed to keep this deal hush-hush.
All right. There's no one here.
Begin by accepting this ring, the earnest money of passion.
What's this? Who sent it?
A female. Willing, attractive, in love, and very eager to be with you. She just sent her maid with this ring, with orders for me to give it to you at once.
So tell me about her. A lady? Or just an ex-slave merely freed by the wave of a wand?
As if I would dare set you up with a former servant. Yes, without even the time to sate the upper crust's desire.
Married she is? Or manless?
Married, yet manless.
How can she be both?
A tender bride who's hitched to a geezer.
Delicious!
Well, no other woman can rival your beauty.
That's stunning, you say. By Heracles, who is this girl?
The wife of old Hospitalities, he who lives right next door. But it's you she longs for. She hates the old guy and is itching to leave him. On her behalf, I beg you to do whatever you can to improve her availability.
I'll burn for her, too, if that's what she'd like.
What she'd like? The woman is smoldering.
Well, what do we do about, what's-her-face? Back in the house.
You tell her to scram wherever she wants. In fact, her twin sister's in town along with her mother. They want to take her home.
Heracles, you say her mother is here in Ephesus?
So says the news from the grapevine.
By Jove, the timing couldn't be nicer to give her the boot.
Even better, you yourself could come out looking darn nice.
Surrender your thoughts and speak.
You want her gone, but still grateful?
I'd love that.
Then this is what you do. You've got potloads of money. Tell her to keep for herself all the baubles and gold you gave her. Say they're a gift. Then tell her to take them wherever she wants, so long as it's far from you.
I like the way you talk, but I hate to see one of them getting away while the other changes her mind.
Don't be skittish. She loves you with a passion that's blind. That's a good joke.
That is great. That's great. Oh, this is wonderful.
So this is the whole plot, right? Mm-hmm. And Pergopolinikes, Major Blowhard, is so in love with himself, he's very easily duped by the clever slave Dexter Palestrio.
Right. I was reading one of the arguments about this is the two plays squashed together is it calls attention to the fact that the Major Blowhard, who's
Right.
the name of the play,
Right.
he's basically not there the entire first half. We see him a little bit at the beginning,
Right.
and then he disappears, and then he shows up again here. Again, I don't really buy that as an argument. But what do you think of that? The fact that Plautus says kind of using the Major as kind of a small hook at the beginning of the
I
play,
see.
and then he just disappears.
Right. I don't know. I'm not sure that it adds a lot to the appreciation of the play to see a kind of literary device that may not be there.
Yeah. No, I kind of like the fact that he kind of comes out blasting at the beginning of the play.
Right.
And by making him kind of go behind the doors and not appear until 2/3 of the way
Right.
in some ways, it makes it that much better.
What do you think about this idea of a mashup? That is, that Plautus is combining two Greek originals into this one play.
Yeah.
Can you think of any analogs?
Man, that's tough. I mean, off the top of my head, I really can't.
Well, there is this and zombies genre, right?
Right. Yeah.
Pride and Prejudice and zombies.
Yeah.
Moby Dick and zombies.
Yeah.
It's a better premise than an execution, I would say.
Yeah, I think so too. Right, but I still think bringing Major Blowhard back is in some ways is kind of the main protagonist in the last third of the play. In some ways, is quite brilliant. You give the audience enough time to kind of forget about him, and then when he comes blasting back on stage, I think it's all the more funny.
That's right.
Yeah.
And as we begin to wind down, Jeff, why don't we skip ahead to right near the conclusion? So this is Act 4, Scene 5,
yes.
Lines 1200 through 1215.
Right. So in the pages between, the second trick has worked.
Okay.
And so Dexter enlists the help of these two courtesans. One is playing the wife, the so-called wife of hospitality,
right?
And the other one is kind of playing like she's the hype woman.
Okay.
For the other one, kind of boosting her up. And it's a very easy trick to pull off because the Major Blowhard's ego knows no bounds.
That's correct.
Right.
He assumes everyone is in love with him.
Right. But it's a little bit delicate, as the scene we just read, in that they got to find a way for Major not only to fall for this new woman, but to allow Convivia a clean exit with with her pockets stuffed with jewels and money at the same time.
Have you ever been in a setting where someone is flattering you and you know what's happening? I don't mean in an amorous kind of way, but you just know that they're trying to get something.
Yes.
Are you able to see through that pretty easily?
Yes. I mean, it usually takes the form with a student.
Yes.
Who wants a boost to their grade.
Professor Winkle, you are so brilliant. I loved the way that you explained that one thing in that one class.
Exactly.
Now, could I get a B+ instead of a C-?
I got something not so long ago where is when I have them do papers, there's requirements for the kinds of sources they can use. And
so
quote, right?
you have them or Cheat GPT do the paper?
Well, this is the ongoing head bashing struggle.
Right.
Well, this was a while ago, or a couple of semesters ago, and a student sent me a note that says, "Well, I'm having trouble finding sources." So he says, "But I'm wondering, can I just quote from your lectures? Because I found that the much more informative than the articles I was reading."
How do you respond to that? I've gotten that a few times, and honestly, I assume that it's flattery, but in a couple instances, I think it may be just laziness.
Yeah.
And, they try to kind of improve the quality of their ask by putting a little niceness on it.
Right.
How do you respond?
I respond. I said, well, I think it's well, that's all well and good, but I just do a little bit more digging. I'd say if you want some help tracking down sources, I'm happy to boost you there. But I steer it away from just saying, oh, wow, yes, you have recognized my greatness. Please put it on the page.
Even I am impressed.
Exactly, I am my own ideal.
That's correct. I am a parade.
Right. So shall we read this?
Yes.
Another exchange between Major and Dexter here.
That's correct.
You want to be the Major here?
I was thinking we should switch roles.
Yes, I think so too.
In a funny thing happened on the way to the forum, the character of Pergopolinikes, Major Blowhard, is played by an impressive bass.
Yes.
He's got a very deep, resonant voice. I don't know if I can do that, but we'll see. I've exacted my wishes exactly as wished from Convivia. Thanks to my charm, we're still on good terms.
And what, may I ask, delayed you so long?
I never knew before this how much that girl adored me.
How's that?
A barrage of words was needed, like hacking through rock. But finally, I got what I wanted. I gave her presents, granted her every demand. I also threw in yourself as a gift.
Even me? But how can I live without you?
Come, now pick up that chin. I'll free you all the same. I exerted my effort in searching for ways to get her to leave without you, but fact is, she caught me off guard.
I must put all my faith in heaven, and you. It's a baneful blow to be forcibly freed from the finest of masters. At least I console myself in knowing that lady next door was overcome by your physical charm, and that I made my small contribution by joining you both in conjugal consummation.
What time is this for words? I'll give you freedom and booty. Just get me the lady.
I'll return with her gotten.
I'm very excited.
Restraint. Repress those urges and try not to drool. Look there, she's coming outside.
And that's where the scene ends.
The scene ends, yes, yeah. So not only has Dexter engineered the rescue of Convivia with cash and prizes, he's also engineered his own freedom.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
That's one clever slave.
It is. It's good stuff.
So we want to go to the very end of the play,
Yes.
and maybe we're going to get some more meta-theatrical elements as Plautus closes this down.
Yes, indeed. All right, so at the very end of the play,
Right.
all the trickery is revealed, but
Right.
it's too late for Major Blowhard to do anything about it.
Poor guy.
And so again, you have that classic kind of comic construct where the rich and the powerful are the idiots, and
Right.
it's the people at the lower part of the totem pole that have all the power and all the resources at this point. So they've pulled out the rug from underneath Major Blowhard. They have threatened him with violence, and as we noted earlier, with even to the point of castration.
Right.
And now Major Blowhard is he makes kind of one last kind of plea that maybe Convivia is still around,
Right.
but he's lost everything.
No, he's got his comeuppance.
So let's read a bit here. Do you want to be hapless
I'll
here?
be hapless, and
Okay.
you can be Major Blowhard.
Sure.
Maybe where he's bemoaning his slaves and what's happened.
Sure. He says, "Oh, good, my slaves. Convivia hasn't left yet, has she? Well, answer.
She's long since gone.
I'm doomed."
You'd say that twice if you happen to know what I know. That man with the woolen eye patch, that was no sailor.
Who was he?
Convivia's lover.
How do you know?
I know because as soon as they got outside the city gate, they didn't stop hugging and kissing.
Ah, I've been ambushed. Dexter, that treasonous weasel, he egged me on, made me break the law, and now here I stand brought to justice. A lesson to would-be lechers, whose numbers throughout this land would lessen if they only found that fulfillment were always this awful. Homeward march, my minions. And then
We get this scene direction from Berg and Parker.
Right.
The three parade stage left, make an about face. The major salutes the audience and says,
permission to clap.
all exit into the major's house, and that's the end.
That's the end, right?
Yeah.
So at the very end there, again, we skipped over a bunch, but Nauticles, he poses as a captain of a ship. That's the
correct.
sailor that Major is referring
with
to
a
there.
woolen eye patch.
With a woolen eye patch, kind of looking like a pirate.
That's right.
And he gets the girl, and everything ends happily for the lower classes.
That's correct. And
Yep.
you like this part that Plautus punctuates it with a moral, a lesson to would-be lechers whose numbers throughout this land would lessen.
Yeah.
Play on words. If only they found that fulfillment were always this awful.
Well, it's kind of a parody of a Greek tragedy that, so Major Blowhard, he's the one who learns too late.
That's
Right?
correct.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it a lot, actually.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So you don't mind the little moral at the end?
I don't.
Because it's light.
It's light. It's not heavy-handed.
Right.
Plautus doesn't beat you over the head with it. And,
That's right.
Yeah.
Tragedy tomorrow, comedy tonight.
yeah, exactly.
Well, we got to get out of here, Jeff. And
We do.
Is there any particular reason?
Yeah, there is, Dave.
Yes, tell me
You've
about
been
it.
talking about these lie babies?
Yeah.
right there? So I drove on my way to the vomitorium.
That's correct.
Those little free libraries.
In your vehicle? Right.
Yeah, yes.
These little, they're kind of it looks like a big birdhouse.
Yes,
kind of.
exactly.
But you open the glass door, and then there are some books in there. Some Michael Crichton, some Jackie Collins, some Danielle Steele.
Yeah.
All the great
all
classics.
the great classics. yeah.
Maybe a little bit of, what's his name? Tom Clancy.
Tom Clancy is in there.
Fyodor
Michael Crichton.
Fyodor Dostoevsky.
Yeah, right.
Kind of Mark Knopfler.
Yeah. Yeah, well, apparently the committee that organizes
Correct.
that, they heard the term lie baby.
Oh, and they like it.
they like it. They want to license it.
They want a license. They want
Yes.
to trademark it.
Exactly right.
I
So
see.
It's actually a rare instance where we don't have somebody angry at the
No.
door. Right.
But they're beseeching us.
Yes.
They're solicitors.
Exactly.
I say let sleeping babies lie.
Okay.
That's,
All right.
that's going to be my answer
All
to
right,
that.
let's run for it. then.
Okay, so
All
we're
right.
going to get out of the vomitorium, but
Yes.
before we do, Jeff, we have a few housekeeping details to take care of. Why don't you tell the listeners about your Latin and Greek programs at latinperdiem.com?
Well, actually, I'm going to tell them about yours. I'm actually going to allow you, Dave, to talk
What?
about your.
I gotta
Latin and
do
Greek
all the
programs.
work?
Yes. Would you
All
please
right.
tell us, our listeners, how they can
Sure.
access these?
So all you Nauticleses out there and all you Dexters and Major Blowhards, go to latinperdiem.com and check out the Greek course, which takes you from...
Neophyte to erudite.
Nice job, Winkle. You can start out from the very basement, you might say, of Greek knowledge and go all the way to the penthouse, all the way to the high rise, the very top. You can learn the alphabet, syllabification, 40 lessons, all whiteboarded, and explained in great detail. I had one student finish Module 1 recently, and I said to him, Matthew, are you going to continue into Module 2? He said, quote, Module 1 greatly exceeded my expectations.
Fantastic.
And I said, that's great. I knew that it would. You need to sign up. Check it out. So if you are a homeschool student, you're a homeschool mom or dad, and you want to take your kids through Greek, this is the way to go. If you are a seminary student, you're a pastor already in the ministry, you want to sharpen your Greek, this is going to give you a very broad and solid foundation. You can also study Latin with us through one of our master classes. The big news is we have a Greek app coming out pretty soon. The Calvin's Latin Bible has done really well. We're still adding books to it all the time. You can find that on the Latin Per Diem website or on one of the app downloading places, the iTunes Store, the App Store, or at Google Play. But we have a Greek app coming out also, and it promises to be really helpful pedagogically, so stay tuned.
Sounds great. And as always, we got people to thank. Big thanks to Mishka, our wonderful engineer, who turns this around and polishes everything up to a
Absolutely.
sheen. Yeah, and Jeff Sheets, he is the guitarist who is making that beautiful music that you hear throughout the episode.
That thrill seeker at the beginning,
Yep.
which is so nice, the thrill of studying the classics. And for the bumper music around the ads, we have Rush Hour.
Rush Hour, yeah.
If that guy sent me an email wanting to get in on the Plautus and Terrence giveaway,
Yeah.
and he put braggart in the subject heading,
Yes.
I wouldn't believe it because he's the real deal.
Exactly.
There's no bragging
No,
here.
you can back it up.
This is legitimate.
You can back it up. Yes. And hey, listeners, you have an idea for an episode, you have a comment, a question, anything, don't hesitate to get in touch with us. You can write to Dave at adnauseum.com. Don't forget the V.
Or Jeff at adnauseum.com. Do not forget the V in ad nauseum. And Jeff, for episode 221, is it time to revisit Mahru?
You know, I was thinking that
Were you
exact thing.
really?
I was. I had
Yeah.
that penciled in. So I think it's back to Maru.
Excellent.
And I think we're in the section on Roman education.
We are.
now, yeah?
That's correct. Should prove to be very interesting. And I believe, Jeff, as we prepare to say goodbye here, I think you have the gustatory parting shot.
Yes, this comes from a song lyrics by the band They Might Be Giants.
Oh, TMBG.
Yes, TMBG.
Are they related to Beck?
They're definitely under the same giant umbrella.
Okay.
Yes, right. And this comes from a song entitled I Am a Grocery Bag, which invites the listeners to imagine themselves as a grocery bag.
Interesting. Paper or plastic?
I think this one, I see this as paper.
I thought so too.
Right. And it goes, juices, muffins, pasta and cheese, milk and biscuits and cocktail sauce. I am a grocery bag. Salsa and pickles and organic grain. I am a grocery bag. Fresh coffee and bagels, pudding and soap, baby formula and ham. I am a grocery bag.
So, very briefly, Winkle,
Yeah.
what do you like about this quote?
It's so absurd.
Okay.
That's what I love about They Might Be Giants. It's
Yes.
just bizarreness for its own sake.
Interesting. Interesting. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.